Meeting the Amherst Township Trustees called to order. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lynch?
Here.
Urick?
Yes.
Kish is present, and Abraham is excused absent. Okay, I have the meeting minutes from the April 8th regular meeting of the Amherst Township Trustees. The meeting was called to order at 7:04 p.m. by Lynch. Pledge to the flag. Roll call: Abraham, Lynch, Urick, and Kish were present. Also in attendance: L. Ashley, G. Lynch, M. Morosco, R. Duncan, B. Tamus, T. Oster, R. Peterson, K. Peterson, and T. Hutchinson. 4125, a motion by Urick, seconded by Abraham, to approve the regular meeting minutes of March 25th, 2025 as read. All ayes. 4225, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Abraham. Move to approve the financial reports and payment of items on the payment listing as presented. All ayes. The fiscal officer reported that no word from the state auditor on the 2022-2023 audit, and waiting for the state auditor to complete their work. Under welcome and audience concerns, Foundations Health Solutions proposed Sandstone Crossings 120-bed nursing home. Rob Peterson and Tom Oster presentation. Rob Duncan, Lorraine County Community Development Department, introduced himself. Community Development staff restructured to focus on specific areas, and Rob will serve as our point of contact for economic development projects. He provided a questionnaire and asked the trustees to fill it out to provide additional information specific to Amherst Township that will help them serve us better. 4325, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Abraham. Motion to enter executive session per Ohio Revised Code section 121.22G3 to confer with Assistant Prosecuting Attorney concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action, and RC section 121.22G8 to consider confidential information related to the marketing plans, specific business strategy, and financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance, or to negotiations with other political subdivisions respecting requests for economic development assistance under the provisions of RC Chapter 715 JED statute and 5709.77 TIF statute regarding operation of a nursing home within a planned development district. All ayes. 4425, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Abraham. Motion to enter an executive session per Ohio Revised Code section 121.22G1 to consider the appointment/employment if a zoning inspector resigns, recognizing that current zoning inspector Sam D'Ambrosio has submitted his resignation effective Friday, April 18th, 2025. All ayes. 4525, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Urick, to return from both executive sessions at 9:14 p.m. All ayes. 4625, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Urick. Move to authorize participation in the ODOT winter salt contracts 01826 awarded in 2025 as authorized by Ohio Revised Code section 5513.01B. All ayes. Under new business, the next regularly scheduled meeting will be Tuesday, April 22nd at 7 p.m. at the Amherst Township Hall. 47.
Almost.
You didn't catch that. 4725, a motion by Urick, seconded by Abraham, to adjourn at 9:20 p.m. All ayes.
Are there any other additional changes or corrections to the April 8th meeting minutes?
I have none.
I'll make a motion to approve as corrected.
Second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Urick?
Yes.
And that is now 4-8.
So
Change
good.
all
It
these
was so
numbers.
good.
Okay, you have in your packets with the financials our credit card statement for March. And the thing I want to point out is that there are finance charges. I am working with the bank to try and get those taken care of, because when you went to OTA and they charged us for the room, and then they reimbursed us for the room, and then they charged us for the room again. All of that was happening in between times when bills were due, so we are getting charged finance charges. So hopefully it will be straightened out with April's.
Otherwise, it's can charge it back to the hotel and really fight that, which isn't worth the
Yeah,
effort.
it's
You
not
saw
worth
how much back and
$25. But
forth.
I wanted to point that out because we typically
Okay.
do not have finance charges, so.
Okay.
That is the March statement. Everything else is pretty basic. Just a couple of supplies. The locking mailbox outside of my office now.
Okay. That's not up by the road.
Nope, that's in my office.
Okay. I wondered what that was.
That is the credit card.
Okay. No, aside from that,
And then your payment listing is pretty boilerplate. And again, I cannot believe I did that with Life Care. I was so embarrassed when she called and she said, we haven't gotten January, February, and March. Oh, I'm paying you quarterly. I said, no, I completely just slipped my mind, but now they're caught up, and then
Oh, you-
April's is in there.
You just do that by memory then, Chris? There's
Yep,
no...
I actually have a piece of paper, but between year end, the audit, getting new computers, and trying to get all the old stuff off of the computers,
Okay.
big note now. So we're caught up, and they were fine with getting it as a quarterly payment if we wanted to do that, so.
And I think you sent us an email or something
Yes.
on that. I remember seeing it, okay.
I usually let you know if something's out of the ordinary. Our
I didn't lose
revenue-
any sleep over it.
Yeah, I didn't think you would. Our revenue summary, our year-to-date revenue, ready, David?
yes,
$750,247.21. And our year-to-date expenditures are $363,487.76.
all right.
Are any questions on the financials or the credit card report?
I have none.
And I'm going to make a motion to approve the financial reports and the payments of the items on the payment listing as specified in the documents provided by the fiscal officer.
I will second,
Lynch?
Yes.
Euring?
yes.
That's
That's
9.
4, yes.
Now I'll make a motion that the credit card account transaction detail has been reviewed for policy and the card statement is accepted as presented, subject to investigation.
I will second,
Lynch?
Yes.
Euring?
yes.
Any update on the audit, Chris?
I've not heard a word.
Okay.
Michael did contact me and say, I think I told you the same thing last time. Kaini can be here during the day, and I was like,
Yeah, that's, okay.
so I
Can he
have
be
not
here?
heard.
Did you ask him if he could be here in the evening?
Well, he could be here in the evening and he could be here on a Saturday, but he said he's got questions that he needs to go over with Kaini so that he can come back and ask me, so
Okay.
I know they're gonna start, the county portion there soon, so I would assume they wanna get us off of there.
Yeah, because ours is real small potatoes. Okay, well, we've got no one in the audience today, which is rare but nice, so we'll move on then to correspondence. Chris?
I have nothing.
Okay, David?
I have nothing to bring forward at this time.
All right, just a quick review. On the May 13th trustee meeting, we will have a 7:30 p.m. bid opening on Rustic Hill Lane concrete replacement project and the one with the catch basin that Kevin has there. I assume, Kevin, that Linda will check with the engineer to get ahead of time, put together a list for us, and hopefully by then we've got a good number of bids coming in.
Do we have an idea what we're gonna put in for next year? Yet, or do we have an idea what we will be doing next year?
Just trying to get through this year first.
Ready? You got some good ideas, though, David?
I think Deepwood's, some issues on Deepwood.
Which section? It's a long street.
The bad section.
Well,
You're going to be
falling
around to
apart
help
on
us
me.
with the grant and playing with the numbers we do to try and get
Try to do something.
some additional money leveraged in?
Try.
Okay.
Take
And
a
you-
mortgage against Kevin's truck. Wait a minute, we can't do
You
that.
know the way to leverage the money, the only way we can though is with that 0% loan to get
I
the
thought you said
point.
the only way was with that mortgage against his truck. I don't know.
All right.
All righty,
The other
anyway.
thing is, on May 13th, there'll be 2 public hearings, both by NOPEC for the, one at 6 o'clock, one at 7 o'clock. This is for a plan of operation and governance for the aggregation of competitive retail natural gas pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, and the section are listed here under correspondence. But again, we never had to do this with the electric, but they say this will allow people to opt in sooner that have been moved out by there's real aggressive push from people to change. And we had this with some residents, with some people going door to door and giving out misinformation that the township trustees had changed something and caused a problem. These people signed up, switched out to a different gas supplier, found out they were paying more money, and they found out the information was misrepresented. So NOPEC then informed us that there is a program where they can opt back in sooner, because then they were concerned now they got to wait a long time, and there were some difficulties. But in this, that's what they must hold 2 public hearings. So that'll be also on May 13th. I'm not sure where Otarma stands on these property appraisals. They had indicated they'd be coming around, but
We're working on it. There has been emails going back and forth, but again, they want to come in at 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and with it being, Linda's like, I'm here 12 to 1,
Yeah.
so that's when it's got to be, and so
hopefully
we're
they-
working on it.
Okay.
But they asked for all kinds, they want some blueprints, and I'm like going, I have no idea
Stuff
where
they
any of
haven't
that
asked for
is.
before.
Yeah, so
What's this?
Well, if it's-
Otarma.
Oh,
Well, on certain ones, Kevin will be able to help a little bit, but... Okay, there's also, this one will be more when Linda's available. I had this for the last meeting, but there was just no way with all the other information to get to it. We had to shorten that. There's a gentleman that's asking for public records for the Dewey Road project we did in 2022. Sounds like there may be some litigation with somebody, not us, as far as I know, but I believe all the information's been provided to them already and worked through the prosecutor's office, but I just need to know for sure that's all been taken care of. And David, I didn't do any changes. I presented at the last meeting. Rob Duncan was actually here, but I had provided a copy of what I had filled out so far on his fact sheet and survey. Did you want to participate in anything there? Do you have any comments, or do you want me just to send in what I provided at the last
you
meeting?
sent in what you provided. I didn't see anything. New.
Okay. And then the next item, since Rob now is the one in community development that has certain townships, a specific number of township responsibilities, on 4/18, he sent out an email, the Ohio Department of Development Housing Technical Assistance Grant that opens actually today, April 22nd. This is new. I believe this was in House Bill 315. Then the OTA sent out notice, I believe it was yesterday, on the same information. But essentially, there's about $1.5 million that's available for distribution. This is across Ohio, all townships and municipalities. That it can be used for things like contracting or consulting for a comprehensive plan update. Our last update was 2005. Same thing for zoning revisions, which usually follow the comprehensive plan. They have the same thing if you're doing an internal update, but it's always nice to get an outside eyes on it. The application will be accepted through May 16th, so there's not a whole lot of time on this. And you'll see when we have some discussion in executive session on a different matter, and in legal and economic development, where it's probably a good idea that we start looking at this. Realize the first time, I'm sure everybody and his brother will be applying. It's a competitive application, so our chances of success aren't necessarily good, especially since the announcement, it just came out, it just opens. You've got about 3 weeks to put together an application. So it's one of those things, and then we're in the other difficult position of now being without a zoning inspector. So it's put some additional work on Linda and Morgan, and it'll be, I think if I said, hey, can you guys look into this, I'm sure they'd say pleasant things to me. But it's one of the things we'll have to, I expect this will come again in future years. And a lot of this is the state of Ohio trying to get more housing, and they are pushing for the economics to get these larger projects, if you will, that mean jobs and economic opportunities. But I'll see if we can get through on this. I've already looked at the application material, but usually what takes the long term is getting all the information you need to put in there. And that's it for correspondence. I will just move on to reports, roads, parks, and cemetery. Kevin?
All regular maintenance ongoing. We are in full grass cutting mode. Dumpster days is this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And GT Contracting was in today and crack sealed Middle Ridge Road between Pyle and the city limits, then from the city limits to Corey Road, and then Rice Road, from Corey Road to Brownhelm Township.
How'd it look?
Good.
A good day for it.
Yeah. There was a lot of material that was used on Rice Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, more than I wanted to see, but they did a good job. So that's done there.
Chip and
That's-
seals?
I'm sorry?
Chip and seal?
Oh, just the crack sealing.
Oh, crack sealing. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we weren't doing any chip and seal
Oh,
this
you
year,
said
no.
sealing and then chip and seal. Okay, I got it.
Maybe next year.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, definitely. That's all I have.
Any questions for Kevin? Any update? I know I keep asking on the truck.
No.
Okay.
Just like the audit.
Well, we still don't have to make our first payment yet, do we?
Right, that's
But
the
that's the
benefit.
upside.
The upside. So 4 months we haven't made a payment.
Yeah, and again, we got that price fixed, and I think, was that a 2023 price and a 2022 bid with the state? We got in right at the end because they were just opening up a new one.
I'd have to look at the paperwork, but I think that sounds,
And we were lucky to get the price we got,
Yeah. Yeah.
because then they went up. Okay, well, then we'll move on. David, with that being the case, let's see, I'll just quickly go through. I mean, you know that our zoning inspector, Sam D'Ambrosio, his last day was on the 18th, so Sam is gone now.
Yes.
He did not want to continue on an interim as we transitioned a new person. I was at a meeting at the Lorraine County Subdivision Review Subcommittee today, and prior to the meeting getting started, they had discussed with the Stratton Corners, that development will be the one for the 74 homes on the east side of Oberlin Road, just south of State Route 113. Now that the township's approved the new general development plan, that will go before county planning. I'm assuming we'll get some sort of notice on that when that happens. I imagine the property owners will also. I don't know. There are a good number of them here at the last zoning commission meeting, and my assessment was they were happy with the adjustments that they were able to make. There is, I didn't put it down here, but the Board of Zoning Appeals does have a hearing scheduled for next week. I didn't put that down on here, and that is dealing with sandstone development regard to the proposed Sandstone Crossing nursing home that our current zoning does not allow, so their first shot is going to the Board of Zoning Appeals for a variance. I don't have any report on Lorco. David, you were at the subdivision review today. You saw that there was another development going on in the Lorco area, and that's why Lorco was present to discuss that. They did have the capacity to serve that particular development.
Is that in that phase one? Is that in phase one?
Yeah, that would be in the phase one.
I thought it was the Carlisle-Eaton area.
Right, that's why the residents from Carlisle were there. So is there any other the items there, Dave? Oh, I should have brought my notes. I did not for the consortium meeting. I did fill in for you at the consortium meeting. I can tell you that the biggest thing at the consortium meeting was holding the administrative fee the same. They were supposed to have they had mentioned that they had sent out the comparison of the costs coming forward, the largest cost being when we go through the rebidding for suppliers when legal and the consultant costs go way up. And at this point, people are satisfied there's enough funds there. They realize it'll dip down once we go through that bidding year, but there wasn't any need to make any adjustments, which they can only do once a year. Complaints from different areas were pretty minor. It sounds like, it's the typical where somebody's street might have been missed, but there's always the questions. Sometimes that does happen. More often than not, it's some resident got their containers out late, the others were picked up, theirs wasn't, but they'll say, the contractor didn't come down my road. Well, he serviced your neighbors. So and there was a complaint also with the flying trash. That's
Probably the biggest complaint. Biggest complaints that we're getting is flying trash. I can't really recall them missing a street. It's been a long time.
Yeah, well, in our township, it's been a long time.
Maybe in a newer
It did happen when they
township.
we had it when there was a new driver one time, and they came out and took care of it. They did miss a street. And then we had some people thought they missed a street, but it wasn't. When we had that last big rain event with the flooding, remember that? And all the people had all sorts of old furniture, mattress, stuff from their basements. They agreed to pick it up, but there's no way, since they had all this extra stuff they weren't used to, they couldn't complete everything in the day. So they had to come back. They just said, tell people leave it out. Well, that's hard to say leave your regular trash out, but you're obviously going to leave a wet mattress or furniture out there. You're not going to drag it back in the house. So they did come back. But yeah, this is coming from other townships, not from our township. Are there any other items there, David, though, that are your responsibility you want to bring up?
I have nothing really to bring forward right now. The only item I would bring up would have been there was an inquiry for Lorraine County Beautiful Day, but for the last several years we haven't done anything, and I couldn't think of anything that was ongoing or any group that was ongoing to do something for Lorraine County Beautiful Day. So I just let it go.
That's
But
probably
it's
best.
still out there, but, I think our plates are full, and it's difficult to touch all the bases, so I just kind of let it go. But that is out there, that did come by again.
Well, keep it in
So,
mind
no,
when we hear
for
from the
next year.
different scouting groups and
Yeah.
whatnot that want something. So.
Something during the year, maybe we'll find something.
Hey.
We'll
What
work in the
date is
spring.
that, May?
What?
Lorraine
Right.
County Beautiful Day.
I don't know
Saturday.
the exact day.
The 17th?
Okay.
Kevin could wash the windows and we could take a picture of him.
Yeah, that's all right. And then, Kevin, I know that you had to run because you weren't feeling real well at the last meeting. But at that day, I did have a resident up on 113 concerned because the ditches were filling up and having drainage. I explained that was the state. Did get the contact information, contacted the state, have heard back from them. They actually will be cleaning those ditches, just for information for you, on 113. They said late spring or early summer. First, what they, at Ashland, said they'd send somebody out from the Oberlin garage that first inspect it themselves to determine, does it really need to be done? And the next day, someone from Oberlin sent me an email, said, yep, they'll get out and get that taken care of, get it all cleaned up.
Where's this at?
It's on State Route 113. She's actually on the north side, but the ditches she wants clean on the south side. If you know where Arch Abraham lives,
Yes.
because I didn't put her address down here, Denny or David, but I know she lives across from Arch Abraham.
So it's in that area?
Yes.
All right. That's
Okay.
general area.
Okay, with that, we will have an order of business to take care of, but I want to have a discussion in executive session first, and there's actually 2 items to deal with in executive session, and
3.
I'm hoping I can do it just with, well, 3, but I'm hoping I can do it with just one motion, or do you want them separate, Chris?
We can do it exactly like we did it last
Okay.
time.
Well, then the first motion is going to be a motion to enter into executive session per Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22G3, to confer with the Assistant Prosecuting Attorney concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action in Revised Code, Section 121.22G8, to consider confidential information related to the marketing plan, specific business strategy, and financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance or for negotiations with other political subdivision respecting the request for economic development assistance under Revised Code Section or Chapter 715, which are the JED statutes, and 5709.77, which are the TIF statutes, regarding the operation of a nursing home within a planned development district. So that'll be my first motion.
Second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Gehrig?
Yes.
And the second motion is to enter into executive session per Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G1 to consider the appointment, employment of the zoning inspector, recognizing that the current zoning inspector, Sam D'Ambrosio, submitted his resignation effective April 18, 2025.
Second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Gehrig?
Yes.
I want to make a motion that we return from the executive sessions at 8:57 p.m.
Second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Gehrig?
Yes.
Okay, we have one more order of business. This is the zoning inspector personnel addition and succession management. I'm not going to read through all the whereases, and I won't even read through each section since this resolution is pre-prepared. But Section 1, Mr. Ryan Valentin is appointed to the position of zoning inspector at wage class B for up to 20 hours per week, conditional on passing all pre-employment investigation, performance tests, and examinations required by the trustee. Mr. Valentin shall report to the Township Administrator, Linda Ashley. His employment shall begin on April 23, 2025, or at such other date in 2025 to be determined by the Township Administrator and Township Fiscal Officer, Chris Kish. And again, I'm not going to read through the other 4 sections there since you've got it all pre-prepared, so that'll be my motion.
I will second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Gehrig?
Yes.
And the number, Chris?
41425.
Okay, is there any other business to come before the board? Okay, our next regular, hearing none, our next regular meeting will be at 7 o'clock on Tuesday, May 13th. There's no work session scheduled between now and then, but the trustees are aware that because of ongoing litigation, that there may be a need to hold a special meeting at the call of availability of the trustees and fiscal officer. So with that, if no other business, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.